Good morning, people. I wanted to make a video this morning. This is No Good Do Gooder with the KNO and the NO. People call me Kiki or Puda. I'm an empress. I'm a high priest. I'm a hierophant. You know what I'm saying? People are looking at me and they have this perceived way on how they think you should be. And they have this blueprint that they expect you to follow in order to be anointed. And that blueprint is not like real. Meaning it's man-made. It's not God-made. Okay? And people don't like the fact that, I be talking about like what God have or what God want or what God like or what, or that, I got the juice from them or whatever. But it's one of those things where all the rules and the blueprint that everyone has to follow, that man-made blueprint is a deterrent to keep you out of there. That's really what it is. You could say, oh, I didn't pray, I didn't fasted, I got on the right attire, I say the right things, and I make sure I look the part. And then I pause because it's like, God's like, that ain't even in me. Like, that's not me. That's all for the church. That's all for the people. That's all for the 3D. That ain't the 5D. And so then when people do spiritual stuff, they do the horror of spirituality. They don't do light work. And if they do, they don't think that it is effective or efficient, okay? So with myself, I've came on camera several times. You see me roll up. You see me smoke. And people are like, oh no. Like Sheen and her North Node. Like, and North Node means enlightened, Christ conscious, and that you can see beyond the veil, or that you are intellectually savvy. And that's why I would post things like telling you how weed is spiritual, and how it was used for that, and how prophets would use that. And it's a certain way that that's supposed to be done too. All right? Even with drinking. I know what my people had to get together, and I was drinking. And so to the naked eye, they'll be like, oh no, she's unhealed. She hasn't changed. She hasn't grown up. She's still the same. And didn't Jesus drink some wine? Okay. Want moonshine made too? That's that real liquor. Okay. What people are forgetting is the fact that a lot of things that are being talked about biblically are very passive. It's designed for you to keep your voice a certain way. It's designed for you to have a certain posture. It's designed for you to speak a certain way. It is designed for you to appeal as a softer version of yourself, which, that softer version of yourself is a lie, because your intentions don't register when you're speaking. It's not like you're speaking, I want to say, with authority, but sometimes people can confuse that to, when someone is excited, they might think that they're angry. Or when someone is dead on about something, they might get some chills or some tingles. And then you'll say, oh, well, whether it's a pastor or a preacher or something, or he acting out, or if it's a person in the congregation, like she don't know what she's talking about. Well, in fact, they do. Okay? It's what resonates within your entire being, your intentions and your entire being. You know, it's kind of like if God was to say, "Come here, my child," that is so. Do you really want me over there? Like, it's like, okay, you coming, but you don't know what you're coming for, and then they want you to sit down beside them, and you could say like, okay, maybe that person's weak, right? And they want you to sit down. And in fact, yes, they could be old and they weak, but they're weak in more than one thing. They're weak in spirit. They're weak in strength, and they're weak in action. Nope, I'm sitting your butt down. My dog getting on my nerves. Getting on my last nerve. Okay. But I'm in my North Node. I meant what I said, like, before in a writing and in a video that I did. It's one of those things where when you learn spiritually and it resonates and your intentions align and God gives you signs, that's growth. Okay? And then when you grow, it doesn't matter if the Jesus in you drinks or the Jesus in you smokes, because Jesus is balanced. Jesus has his yin and his yang, his masculine and his feminine. Jesus can walk on the dark and in the light. That's what people is forgetting about. Okay? Because Jesus was down there with all the heathens and things. And then he'll come and be with the upper echelon too. There wasn't a distinction with Jesus. Because Jesus was still kicking truth no matter which way he went. He won't try to appease you or please you and be like, oh, I'm going to act this way when I get around sister such and such. Or I'm going to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's with Pastor da-da-da-da-da. He didn't care. And that's what's missing. And then, you know what alignment means in Christ consciousness? That you're aware of what you're doing before you do it. And that you don't overdo it. And like, okay, if you know it's going to take you 2 beers before you start acting up, maybe you should just drink one, just like that. Christ consciousness is your North Node on steroids. It's like your actions, you're aware of it. Your intentions, you're aware of it. But you're also aware of everyone else's too. And you can also tell when other people have not healed. That is the key. People can talk about you all day long. That means they have not healed, okay? People can always want to throw obstacles in your way. They have not healed. You can drink and smoke with them, and it's okay if they talk shit about you. But oh my God, if you open your mouth to part your lips about them, and when they want to talk and say you're not healed, reality is they are not healed. Reality is that they have a hard time being their self, no matter what they're going through. They have a hard time letting that mask go. They have a hard time with the truth. They have a hard time not just with telling the truth or being the truth, but living in their truth. That is some real shit, And when I say to folks, like, I've been Christ conscious all my life, and the way I can arrive at that conclusion is because this whole process, as God has been restoring me, he's been restoring me to my original self. Okay? I've been in this same body since I was a baby. And I've never sold my soul. So, but I know what it feels like to have my soul taken from me or my spirit taken from me. Okay? And I know the hard work it takes to get either one of those back. Okay? Because everything was taken based upon lies, greed, jealousy, envy, hate from other people. And they would go to these cults, they would go to these churches and these covens, and they would lie like fuck on me. And I could be, working one of my businesses. I could be, handling something with a client. I could be, cooking for the homeless. And they like, oh, she out there selling her ass. It's like, wait a minute. But a lot of people already just had it out for me from previous lifetimes. Okay? Now, this is how you really know that you're in your North Node or not. All right? As you grow spiritually, like I said, tinglings, indications, what I would say to God, if I get things right, send me to the bathroom. Because instead of making it a external blessing, some people will ask for a new house, a new car, or pay this bill for me, or I just need this miracle or that miracle. Health is wealth. You are supposed to relate it to your health, to yourself. So you know that yourself is growing, is elevating, and is prospering within. Okay? So if people want to do stuff to give me a heart attack, stroke, or cancer, diabetes, AIDS, break a limb, be in an accident, whatever. And I ask for not just covering, but I could tell when my heart would be doing good. And I could tell when my heart would be doing bad. So if I reach a level of understanding spiritually, I would ask God, hey, can you restore my heart? Or can you give me an education on how I can restore my heart? Or can you make sure that I'm aware of this or aware of that? And I would read. I would watch documentaries. I would listen to motivational speakers. I would read their books too. I would read the Bible and listen to different people that would say themselves are prophets, and some probably are. And some I could tell that were like that. But then there are others I knew, no, But people has this false sense of wanting to judge somebody. And they think that they are entitled to do that. They think that it's okay for them to cast that out. And then the way they pass judgment on someone is they want to put them through a trial. They want to put them through some form of a tribulation. Okay? And I'm going to use this as an example, but it's absolutely true. There are people that I would get very upset with. And I would know exactly what you're doing. And I would hold my tongue until it's like sometimes it would be unbearable. And then I would just let you know all the shit that I know. And how I don't like it. And how I know what you're doing to me. And to this extent or whatever. And I could cuss your ass out. Right? When you are not healed, you won't just accept that cussing out or even just cussing my ass back out and we all right. Or not all right to where we want to be around each other pound, but I get what she's saying and then acknowledge the fact that I'm right. Or you ain't even got to acknowledge it to me. You can acknowledge it to yourself. But an unhealed person will do something to retaliate. A lot of people did that. And that's how I would know, okay, I know what team you're on. You get what I'm saying? I already knew you were on that team. But if we go through something and then some drastic, something dramatic, something to put me back in some type of fear or my place, or what people would want to say, like to humble me, they would do fear-based things and tactics. And I would know exactly where it's coming from. Okay? And it stems from a whole lot of fuckery behind the scenes. Lies, jealousy, envy, hatred. Okay? A whole lot of childhood wounds that they don't care to heal. A whole lot of immaturity that's on a whole nother level that they never cared to address. And a lot of these people are grown, but instead of them addressing it, they are thrown off on their children. They'll go through the process to produce karmic children. And those kids don't understand. They're just doing what mommy and daddy say. But they don't realize that mommy and daddy is setting them up for failure. Because mommy and daddy already have so much karma, and they trying to transfer it off on the kid because that kid is still abundant with God. That kid hasn't violated. That kid has some form of grace and mercy that those parents don't have anymore. And it is a lot of truth that I'm saying. Okay? But this is the real thing. And this is a difference in a south node and a north node. A south node is like low vibrational type shit. If that's your answer to everything, no, you are not healed. No, you have not grown. No, you ain't fucking with God. You know you fucking with some demons and you cool with it. Okay? Because all you doing is calling up another demon-ass friend and you talking all the kind of shit about another person. That's one thing. And then you want to put an action behind it. That's two. However, what you want to do, what they do, they don't want to be seen doing it. They don't want to get caught doing it. But they want to make it happen. It's kind of like what you would see on TV where you know who your ghost is. And they're saying to you nice and politely, I'm still going to be a ghost in your life. North Node would say to you, oh, no, you're not. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly what you're about. I know exactly how you get down. I know exactly like your routine and regimen too. But I don't respond the way you respond. You know, when you elevate in consciousness, and let's say you are mentally fit, physically fit, emotionally fit, spiritually fit, religious fit, nobody can fuck with you. And you know you could put your physical hands on somebody, but you choose not to. That's because you understand what your strength is. But you also, you don't mind sitting down and having a conversation. Even if that person cussed your ass out. You don't mind. You know, it's like, okay, now it's open dialogue. Now we can, finally discuss some things and get some shit out in the open. But that's a North Node person. A South Node person would think that they're all those things. But what they would do, they would hold a grudge. They don't want to talk about it. And they want to continue to be sneaky, which is childish. That's the South Node thing. And when you want to still group up with other people to have discussions about it, you're still in your lower nature. When I want to have a discussion about something that I know from other people and I'm not around those people, and I have to make, a spiritual point or a biblical point, I just hop online. I ain't got your phone number. You know what I'm saying? And if I ain't cool with you, I don't know where you stay. And I don't have any friends where I'm like, I want to knock on their door, I want to hang out, and I want to, discuss all my woes. No. I don't do that anymore at all. When I did do that, I thought it was okay I could talk to these folks. No. They were just more agents of what they would call chaos. And that means they would listen, not to help. They would listen to keep shit going. To keep things being aggravated. To keep you in a loop of disarray. And I had to step back and say to myself, not only is this orchestrated, not only do these folks get a kick out of this, but this is their entertainment, and they're using my life for entertainment like that. And so there were things that people would do, and if I fought about it, I fought you right then. And if you kept pissing me off to the fact where it's like, that's what you want to happen all the time, oh no, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to keep fighting you. I'm not going to keep having the same arguments with you. I am not going to keep rehashing the same stuff and to keep me in the same loop with you. It's things like that. If you don't stop those things, if you don't have control over yourself with those things, you are not spiritually educated on a higher level. You are not in your north node. And if you hold high positions, and this is how you solve your problems, by orchestrating an orgy, or to manifest, or to orchestrating a hit, or a hospital thing, a beating, a car accident, you are not your higher self. And basically what God has me here doing, because you can't hear God in my head when they actually talk to me, just like you hear the words coming out of my mouth. And you can't see the visions that I see. Okay? So to you, it could seem like, all right, this young lady is not rap type. Okay? That's why there are higher people in spiritual positions than others that are in their north node, that are intellectual savvy. They do understand the difference, and they are able to evaluate your mental, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, and your biblical, ritualistic self. But there's a difference. And I can laugh and I can joke with you and I can have a good time with you. And that can consist of me smoking my weed, me getting me something to drink. I don't overindulge though. I don't do anything to ruin myself. Okay? When I want to stop, I stop. If someone else still wants to feed me something and I don't want it, I don't want it. And if you decide that you want to force something, what did I say? I said no. I said I don't want it. And matter of fact, don't worry about it. I'm going to go. And some people might be like, oh no, Kiki, just stay. How many times I'm going to have to say no to you? Because see, that's crossing my boundaries. You get it? That's making me feel uncomfortable. You get it? Or why do you think it's okay for you to tap into me spiritually? You haven't asked me. You set me up and put me in things and to hurt me. I don't owe you anything. You understand? That's being in your north node. That's understanding it's time to let this go. It's time to let these people go. It's time to let motherfuckers learn some lessons. Okay? Because they haven't learned them. Because if someone overstepped your spiritual boundaries and put you in a shitload of pain, agony, hurt, in the hospital, and always getting you in things that ends in some form of a death, right? No. Do they love you? No, they don't. Are they playing a game with your life? Yes, they are. Do they know what they're doing? Yes, they do. Because they know what they're doing, because they're in these secret societies of whatever kind. They're in these churches of whatever kind. And they formulate these groups whenever they want to. They know what to order, as far as the herbs, as far as the books. They know what cantations to say. Okay? They know the reverse of the psychology behind it. And I've had people say, oh my God, I really just hope that you make it home safely and that your ride is just all these great things, right? And I'm like, oh, to the naked eye of a regular person, would be like, well, thank you for just praying over me as I about to get in my car. And then they turn their prayers into, I hope that bitch die. I hope she just run into another motherfucker and that's the end of her. Because I really can't stand this bitch. I can hear that. When I was younger, I would be like, oh boy, okay. And I would hear it. But if I speak on what I hear, I'm in the wrong. And in my mind, I'm thinking like this. Well, why the fuck would you say it then? Why you don't stand 10 toes on the shit you be saying? But motherfuckers, I noticed, they don't want to get in no trouble. They want to pass the buck. They want to put you through shit. They want to make you feel a certain way and for you to take on all of their nastiness. And I just politely be like, no, I'm not doing it. And if people don't get it, I hop in my car and I leave. I'm at a place or a point now where I don't have a car. They don't want me to hop in that bitch and leave. They fuck with my bank accounts. They don't want me to have money to hop in something and leave. Okay? And they fucking with my house because when I go home, oh no, you ain't coming there. No. Like everything I have is sacred. Okay? And it's because I do the work to make my space sacred. And it's not about the look on the outside or the look in the inside. I don't even care if my shit got tons of shit in it. I know my space is sacred because I know certain things that are sacred that you could do to, hey, keep your home a certain way. And what I mean by a certain way is your home don't become demonic or nothing like that until a demonic motherfucker come and step on your property. Till a demonic motherfucker want to just start rattling some shit off in the mouth. Till a demonic motherfucker want to write some shit down, throw the shit in your yard or something like that. And you gotta be able to see it and be like, oh, let me just sweep this on off my property or whatever. Let me put this in the trash. Let me, like that. My life didn't get hectic till about 10, 12 years ago. And 10, 12 years ago, my house was spick and span, can eat off the motherfucking floor. Okay? 3 businesses, a job, all that. Making money hand over fist. Wasn't able to keep a lot of it, though. But it was because I had a whole lot of energy vampires sucking off my shit. Everybody didn't talk to everybody to take something here and there. The secret in the background was for me to be a worker bee. And while everybody else get to sit around, chill, and just get money off of me. And like I said in one of my videos, I'm a good ass lick. Like God said, I've been here 21 other lifetimes prior to this one. And the system is perfected. So I could have died 21 times, right? But I still got shit from my first lifetime. Maybe. All the way to my 21st lifetime. And motherfuckers was able to get to it. Because I was open. And what I mean by I was open, no one taught me spirituality. Bad or good. But people were practicing bad spirituality around me. Okay? And things that were done were covert. Like, not where I could see it. Okay? Maybe some things I might hear. Or maybe some things I didn't understand at certain points in time in my life. However, the things were done. Because I was put in a whole lot of death situations. And I survived. And I would get this look that I still get today. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Because they're like, this bitch is still alive. Why, yes, I am. I know what the look means. I know what it means. I also know what it means when you call me and you're like, hey, how you doing? Is everything okay? Oh. Or I answer the phone. You know, it's like, damn, the bitch made it home. Damn. The poison we gave ain't work. Damn. This shit. When you've had things done to you before your birth, that means all these adults, they know who you are from your previous life, from your previous work, from your previous growth, from your previous accolades, from your previous fame, from your previous, wonderfulness, okay? And they don't want that. Again, that in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why you don't want that? But that's a demon. That's the devil. That's some form of Luciferian Satan that's on you. Where you say, I don't want good in my life because it's gonna trickle down from her. I deserve to be better than her. And these are some of the people I'm dealing with. And they feel like that way is the better way to be. You know, to put me down, to big themselves up. And if I was a millionaire or a billionaire in a past life, and I can still become that in this life, you trying to tell me you wouldn't be happy with 100,000, a couple of mil, or even billions yourself? You know, what is the reason for one to stay in the lack mentality across the board just to fulfill a sick fantasy of deprivation to one person? And you're doing this to the person that is here to save the fucking world. That's what blows my mind. Like, all the shit that God tells me, it's like, who wants to kill what saves the fucking world? Who wants to kill what's actually connected in the 3D form to the universe? Who wants to kill what God has chosen to be the representative of Earth? Not to destroy it, to grow it, to help it, to flourish it, to clean it, to allow the world to see the world in its best light. It's like, I really want people to, after you think about what you're saying, and whatever it is that you want to do to someone else, say that shit out loud before you actually want to fucking do it. Because when the shit's come out your mouth and it sound fucked up, it's like, wait a minute, why the fuck do I want to do that? Why the fuck am I agreeing with this shit? Why the fuck am I looking at her this certain type of way? You know, when the prosperous things that she's doing, I agree with, and I actually want to do myself. So why am I hating if she's the avenue or the vehicle to be able to do that? Now, I'm saying all these things, and I don't have not one blunt or no wine or no liquor. Okay? But because my hair ain't done, I ain't got my camera crew, I don't have a long, shitload of money, which I will have, because the motherfuckers that stole shit from me, you know how that shit comes back to me. Okay? But I'm just looking like a regular motherfucker, right? I know I'm rich as fuck in the spirit. I knew that a long time ago as I would get through things. And I would know I was getting credit for those things. And I would be like, well, why isn't the credit showing on earth? And God would tell me it was people in the background that were doing things. Now, the hurtful part was how close these people were to me. And I'm like, damn, it hurts in a very deep place when you find out, like, how close. Because you could be laying in the bed with the motherfucker that's stabbing you in the back. You could be in the house with the motherfucker that's stabbing you in the back. You know, you could be riding in the car with the person that's stabbing you in the back. It's like, damn. And you say to yourself, I thought I could trust this person. I thought I could trust that person. No. I learned that blood ain't always thicker than water. And friends are really foes. And when you got a light that shines, it just automatically makes people jealous because they're seeing what they did not do within themselves. And then they're saying, I'm not going to allow her to do it. Like, I like my life this way, and I don't have to think about what I did not do with my life. And when I see her, I have to think about it. And some folk would just rather me be the fuck out of here so they ain't got to think about it no more. Some folks want me to fuck out of here so they can steal all my money, all my property, and all of my previous work. Some people want me to fuck out of here because they are eating off of my pain and suffering and accolades and longevity of life. And I'm trying to show people the reason why my destiny looks so sweet in the spirit is because I grow my intellect. Okay? The way I think is not about killing another motherfucker. If I gotta cuss your ass out or beat your ass, that should be as far as I need to go. Okay? Because I know my strength. Alright? And I knew I had a higher power running through my veins. Because like I said, God talks to me in between my ears. Actual voice. Okay? And even if I didn't utilize the strength that God gave me, it was sometimes they would utilize the strength and help me beat a motherfucker ass. Okay? But knowing the strength that I have, I didn't just go around like doing shit and starting shit and just wanting to fuck with a motherfucker just because, I can. But those are the type of people that I'm going up against that do that. And if they got God in them and they can hear him in between their ears, it's like they that's not God. Because God wouldn't tell you to flex your muscles like that. That's the devil. God would not tell you to go and inflict pain on somebody else. God wouldn't tell you to hurt them. God does not speak in a death or lack verbiage at all. God speaks life all the fucking time. So, whoever you're rocking with is the fucking devil. And being able to hear God doesn't give that to everyone. He only gives it to that one woman and that one man. And people are mad because it's like, why does God always choose that same one woman and that same one man? And it is because that woman does the spiritual work without somebody having to tell her to do it. That woman learns her lessons without someone having to tell her, I need to sit down and learn this lesson. That one woman understands the difference between hate, envy, anger, love, frustration, brutality, to being happy and having some joy. And it's like once I get a hold to great feelings, I keep them. It's kind of like a mental note in the inside for myself. Like, okay, I know what this truly feels like. So when someone wants to bring me some fake love or fake joy or fake happiness, it's like, no, I know this shit ain't real. This is not it, okay? Like, this is that fabricated fluff bullshit. And some people think you can't see through it, but you can. But sometimes when you have a lot of people that are rooting for your downfall, they think they're not seen. The whole time, it's like I seen everyone. But imagine when you think you have trusted people that you can confide in, and you can tell. And you think you can tell on that other person. And you realize that person that you trusted doesn't do anything to that other person. Or they just start to side with that other person. Or they tell me something like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, just let it blow over. Or, you know, those arguments get heated and everybody knows that I'm going to leave. They're your ops. They like the drama. They want to keep it going. They want something to talk about. They orchestrated it all. You know, they're coming off as a person that really cares, but they don't give a shit at all. You know, they actually put the little fucker up to the bullshit to do to you. It's things like that. That lets you know you're on your north node when you can see it. And like I tell people, the more education that you have, knowledge base, that takes you out of animalistic behavior spiritually, you're growing closer to God. And every time you're going closer to God, you're going to know it. You might get some sweats. You might get some tingling. Your stomach might rumble. You might get an epiphany or a light bulb. You might want to run to some other information to connect some other dots that you read from somewhere else or you watched from somewhere else, or that out of those 5 churches you went to, on the 3rd church, they was like really kicking some real shit like that. And when you're putting all these things together better than the people around you, when you are seeing things that they don't want you to see, it's just time to go. You know, and when they want to keep you small and you know you're destined for greatness, it's time to go, you know. And I realized the few places I went to, I already had Agent Smiths in place to kind of like fuck my life over, you know, and project things onto me, and to have me cloaked in their nastiness, their filthiness. Because me, myself, a lot of shit I wouldn't do. But I would hear, like, spiritual-wise, people would say that I'm doing. And I'm like, where? You know, I don't go to motherfuckers' houses to just start shit. I don't do that. And I ain't the type that's going to be fucking with your man. I don't do that. You know, I'm not the type that's going to start a rumor and then say, no, I ain't do it. I'm just not a certain fucking way. But other people are. And those other people, you can tell that they your ops because they do the same shit that they be talking about in the spirit, in real fucking life. And I'm just like, oh, you know, to myself, I would say, oh, that was Mrs. Jones. And so I know automatically the way Miss Jones act, she do, she say, you know, what she about, that's exactly the same way she is in the spirit too. And so I have identified Miss Jones on a spiritual level, a religious level, a personal level, and on a biblical level. And I ain't gonna be fucking with Miss Jones, but Miss Jones don't know why I ain't fucking with her. You know what I'm saying? Why should I explain to Miss Jones that I know the shit that she said about me? It's like, that's what people want you to do because they want something to fuss about, argue about, and fight about to keep some shit going. Like, they want you low vibrational as fuck. They want you in their face. They want to be able to, like, ruin something for you, put the police on you, and hem you up in some shit. And I have said plenty of times to myself and other people, I will never give my life over to another. If it ain't God, I ain't doing it. But that's what that means. A transfer of energy, an exchange. So I could have been cloaked in people's nastiness. Energy transfer could have happened. Lies could have been told on me. Setups could have been set the fuck up on me too. But if I don't do something, I don't fucking do it. If I don't want to go, I don't damn go. If I don't act like Miss Jones, I don't have a problem with saying I don't act like Miss Jones. So Miss Jones can kiss my ass on the shit that she trying to conjure up and say about what a bitch be doing. You get it? That's all your North Node. Because you can stand in the court of law, you can stand in the court of peers, you can stand in the court of spiritual, you can stand in the court of biblical and be like, I am not Miss Jones' keeper. I don't act. I don't do the shit that Miss Jones do. I don't even know what the fuck Miss Jones was on last Tuesday at 10 o'clock at night. But she do. Shit like that. So, when people would say, oh, she ain't healed, she ain't, because they're looking at what you're doing. And I would say to folk, if I've never been able to have an intellectual conversation with you, why would I come at you intellectually? If all you do is kick it, rah-rah bullshit, shooting the breeze, laughing and joking, and it's always a party, I'm just going to keep it breezy. You know what I'm saying? I only make it something more when you make it something more. When you want to be bringing some smoke to me, it's like, oh, okay, I see the type of shit you on. You know, the old me would mostly react. And you know what's crazy? The new me in my North Node, God would say to me, I have permission to act. God was like, you have so much permission to act and you won't get in any trouble. Because these people didn't have permission to act and they did it anyway. And they are the ones that are really in the most trouble. It was never you because you never had any karma. People were putting their karma on you. But see, you didn't know anything about karma. You didn't know anything about spirituality. You were an easy lick to a lot of motherfuckers. Because they kept you, docile. And once you understand what you're around, or let me say it like this. Your internal folk will always say that it's your external folk that got you acting certain ways. The boyfriend that you meet, the homegirls that you have, it's something with the type of men that you attract. It's something with no motherfucker. I don't attract certain people, but I know that you do. Because see, I don't be doing no lines of coke. You know what I'm saying? I don't be talking shit about people. I don't be lacing my motherfucking weed. I don't be doing certain shit, but you do. And I would recognize the patterns in people. And I would know just off the gate. I would set up a sit down and be quiet. Shut up. Shut up. Sit down and be quiet. We are somewhere new. And my dog is loud as fuck. And these kids is asleep. And she thinks she ain't got to listen to me when I tell her shut her goddamn mouth up. But she ain't going to wake up this whole house because that's what she want to do. Because she hears some shit upstairs or outside. No. No. But you want to blame people for the things that they've done. But it's like I said, every negative word is a demon. And imagine if you got a demon of anger, hate, jealousy, envy, shame, doubt, insecure. I can just pick out a whole lot of other negative words, but let's say that added up to 12. It's like that's 12 demons on you. And I mastered all of those emotions so they would not overtake me. Because the demon, let's say the demon of anger. Okay, let me put it like this. Let's say your boyfriend got you angry. All right? That's one demon of anger. And y'all argued in the morning before you went to work. Okay? And then you're in your car. But the way traffic is going, you're angry. All right? And that's another demon of anger. Either you picked it up or it was already there. Like a transfer from your boyfriend. And then let's say you might want to go to the store, get you your coffee and your gas. And someone says something that gets you pissed off. That's another demon of anger. Right? Your boss says something, another demon of anger. Then you pick up the phone and you call your client. And your client is arguing and fussing, and that's another demon of anger. And that might be 6, 7 damn demons of anger before 9 o'clock in the morning. All right? You need to always check your demeanor about each one. You know, is it misplaced anger? Because misplaced anger isn't necessarily a demon, so to speak. But deep-rooted, seated anger is. It's like that. It's like a level of maturity if it's displaced. Is it kid anger? Because that means that's another level of maturity because it's not that deep. It's like that. And if you getting all these 6, 7 different types of anger before 9 o'clock, and then you fester in it, and you dwell in it, and you make sure to keep it and be that from your 9 to 5, and then when you get home, and then the shit start up again with your boyfriend or something like that. Toxic. When it reaches toxic, you got multiple demons of anger on you. It's like the anger grew from a child to an adult. That means that demon grew with you and it has taken over you. You didn't master it. You didn't control it. You didn't figure it out. You didn't know what its triggers were, and you let it happen. Okay? If you don't want something, you don't let it happen. If you're not into that, you don't, You know. But then there's some people that pass the buck because they know what they done. And in these spiritual streets, because everybody operating on that negativity shit, Oh, they make sure they far away from you before they do some fuck shit. Because they don't want to be close by just in case that shit snatch their ass. Because they know it's an energy transfer. They know it's an energy thing. They want your energy to be the only one right there. And then that happened to me where it was just me. And people will be like, why didn't this happen to her? My energy doesn't match what you're trying to bring to me. If my frequency is on 100 and your frequency is on 25 and you bring him some 25 shit to me, God will be like, no. I'm going to reroute this to another 25 motherfucker. That's how that shit comes back to you and hurt somebody that you love and not me. People need to understand what you are admitting out. That's out of your mouth. That's a frequency. And the way you use it is a vibration. And then your intentions of it all is like an alignment. And you're going to get that. Okay? It doesn't matter how much you want it for somebody else. You're going to get that. Okay? I'm going to go now. Everybody have a wonderful day. Again, toodles.